Good evening and welcome back. Tonight we explore the dark side of technology where the digital world becomes a doorway for the unknown. These are true tales of Zoom calls gone horribly wrong, submitted by viewers like you. So, turn off the lights, put on your headphones, and listen closely. The call is coming from inside the house and inside the computer. Our first story comes from Chloe, a tale that chills the bone and makes you question the safety of our digital interactions. It's a story about the unseen, the uninvited, and the unnerving feeling of being watched when you think you're alone. A college student navigating the already stressful world of academia. Little did she know, her biggest test wouldn't be in a classroom, but in the virtual space of a late-night study session. During late-night Zoom study sessions, when the lines between reality and the digital world blur, Chloe, burning the midnight oil to keep up with her coursework, Liam, always ready with a joke to lighten the mood, and Sarah, the organized one who kept them on track, noticed a fourth participant, an uninvited guest lurking in the digital shadows. Observer. A name that sent shivers down their spines. No one had invited them. No one knew who they were or how they got in. The name was just a black square, a void in the digital space. No video, no profile picture, just an unsettling blankness that filled them with dread. Chloe, the host, frantically searched for a way to regain control, couldn't remove the observer. The digital gatekeeper was powerless. The option was grayed out, as if some unseen force was preventing her from banishing the intruder. Unease grew, morphing into a palpable sense of fear. They tried to ignore it, to brush it off as a glitch, a random error in the system, but the presence was impossible to shake. It was a constant, looming reminder that something was terribly wrong. Suddenly, the black box flickered. A brief, jarring disruption in the digital space. A distorted, inhuman face appeared, a glimpse into something truly terrifying. For a split second, a horrifying image burned into their minds. The image vanished, leaving them questioning what they had just witnessed, but the terror lingered, a cold knot of fear tightening in their stomachs. Liam tried to end the call, desperate to escape the digital nightmare. Nothing happened. The button was unresponsive, the escape route blocked. They were trapped, prisoners in their own virtual study session. The chat box lit up, a beacon of dread in the corner of the screen. A single word from Observer, a chilling message that confirmed their worst fears. Watching. A declaration of intent, a promise of unseen eyes. The video feed returned, snapping back into focus with a renewed sense of menace. The face staring, unmoving, its gaze fixed on them with unnerving intensity, its smile twisted and wrong, a grotesque parody of human expression. Then, a new participant joined, an impossible addition to the already terrifying situation. Chloe, with her own profile picture, her own name, but Chloe was already in the call. A doppelganger, a digital echo, a nightmare come to life. The new Chloe messaged, a message that struck fear directly into Chloe's heart. I'm in your room. A chilling invasion of privacy, a threat made real. Chloe froze, her blood turning to ice in her veins. A floorboard creaked outside her door, a sound that amplified her terror tenfold. Liam and Sarah shouted for her to run to escape the impending horror, but she was paralyzed, trapped by fear and the chilling certainty that something was about to break through. The doorknob rattled violently, a desperate attempt to breach the barrier between her and the unknown. Chloe yanked her laptop's power cord, severing the connection to the digital world in a desperate act of self-preservation. Darkness. Silence. A temporary reprieve from the digital nightmare. She pressed against the wall, heart pounding, every nerve on high alert. The rattling stopped, leaving an unsettling quiet in its wake. Dawn eventually broke, painting the sky with the promise of a new day. But the memory of the night lingered like a dark stain. Chloe never learned who or what the observer truly was on that call, lurking in the digital shadows. Liam and Sarah dropped the class, unable to shake the trauma of that night. Chloe moved out, seeking a fresh start and a sense of security that had been shattered. To this day, she checks every participant list, scrutinizing each name with a wary eye, dreading the name Observer, the harbinger of a digital nightmare. The digital world is supposed to connect us, to bridge distances and foster collaboration. But sometimes it opens doors, portals to something far more sinister that should stay shut, locked away from our reality. Chloe learned the hard way, a lesson etched in fear and paranoia. The phantom participant wasn't a glitch, a mere anomaly in the code. It was a crack in reality, a tear in the fabric of our understanding. For one night, she and her friends unknowingly invited something sinister into their lives, stared into the abyss, a dark, unknowable void that exists just beyond our perception. And it stared back, its gaze lingering long after the call ended. Even the safest spaces can be breached, the most secure connections compromised. When the threat is already inside your network, lurking in the digital shadows, waiting for an opportunity to strike. The next time you see an unfamiliar face, an unfamiliar name in your call, a black square where a profile picture should be, remember Chloe's story and the chilling reminder that not everything is as it seems. Not every participant is human, and not every connection is safe. Sometimes the digital void looks back, and what it sees might not be what you expect. And sometimes it steps through, crossing the threshold from the digital realm into our own. Be careful who you let in, both in the real world and the digital one. The observer might be waiting, lurking in the shadows, ready to make its presence known. Our second story comes from Mark, a tale that blurs the line between the mundane and the macabre. It's a chilling account of a corporate worker whose ordinary day took a terrifying turn into the unknown. A corporate worker, just like many of us, navigating the daily grind. One morning, during a routine Zoom meeting, a virtual gathering that had become commonplace, Mark noticed Jessica, a quiet colleague, usually reserved and unobtrusive, acting strangely. Her demeanor was off, a subtle shift that hinted at something deeply unsettling. Her eyes darted off camera, as if she were seeing something just beyond the screen's edge, something that filled her with dread. Her face pale with growing fear, a stark white mask of terror slowly consuming her features. Suddenly, Jessica's mouth opened in a silent scream, a horrifying expression of pure, unadulterated terror. Her video froze on that moment of terror, a digital snapshot of her last visible moment, forever etched in the minds of her colleagues. Then, a distorted, agonized scream, a sound that seemed to tear through the fabric of reality, blasted through the call, echoing with static, a cacophony of digital noise and human anguish that sent shivers down everyone's spines. Her screen went black, plunging her into a digital abyss. Jessica has left the meeting. The automated message appeared, a cold clinical notification that belied the horror of what had just transpired. Panic erupted. The virtual meeting dissolved into chaos as people tried to make sense of the inexplicable event. No one could reach her. Their frantic attempts to connect met with silence, calls, unanswered and echoing into the void, messages filled with concern and growing fear, all unanswered. A digital ghost town where Jessica once resided. Police found her apartment, the scene of her last known location, locked from the inside, empty. A sterile environment offering no clues to her whereabouts, no sign of struggle, no indication of forced entry or foul play. Her laptop was still open, a silent witness to the unfolding mystery, to the Zoom call, the digital portal through which she seemingly vanished. Jessica had vanished without a trace, leaving behind only questions and a lingering sense of unease. The team was left haunted, forever scarred by the inexplicable disappearance of their colleague, by her frozen, screaming face, a digital ghost that continued to haunt their waking hours. The company offered counseling, a desperate attempt to mend the fractured psyches of its employees. But nothing erased the horror, the indelible mark left by Jessica's vanishing act. Every meeting became a source of dread, a constant reminder of the fragility of reality and the lurking terrors of the digital world. The police found no leads, the investigation hitting dead end after dead end. Jessica was declared missing, another name added to the long list of unsolved disappearances. Mark and his colleagues never learned, the truth forever obscured by the digital veil. What she saw, the horrifying vision that preceded her disappearance, or what took her, the unseen force that reached through the screen and claimed her as its own. Sometimes, the most terrifying things, the horrors that truly haunt us, don't come through the door, the expected avenues of threat. They come through the screen, The glowing rectangles that dominate our lives. The portals to another world. A routine call became a nightmare, a descent into digital madness, and a colleague disappeared before their eyes, swallowed by the digital void. The digital world can be a window, a gateway to knowledge and connection, or a trap, a carefully constructed illusion designed to ensnare the unwary. The only evidence, the lingering remnants of a digital tragedy, a single horrifying frame, a frozen moment of terror captured for eternity, and the echo of a disconnected scream, a haunting reminder of the digital horrors that lurk just beneath the surface. Next time your screen glitches, when the digital world flickers and distorts, remember Jessica and the chilling mystery of her disappearance. Not every technical issue is harmless. Not every glitch is a mere inconvenience. Sometimes it's a warning, a subtle sign of something far more sinister at play. Sometimes it's the last thing, the final image burned into your retinas you'll ever see before the darkness consumes you. Stay vigilant. Be aware of the potential dangers lurking in the digital shadows. The digital void is always watching, its unseen eyes constantly monitoring our every move. And sometimes it takes claiming unsuspecting victims who stray too close to the edge. What happened to Jessica remains a mystery, a chilling enigma that continues to baffle investigators and haunt her former colleagues. But her scream still echoes, a digital ghost reverberating through the corridors of the internet, in the silence of every call, a chilling reminder of the unseen horrors that may be lurking just beyond the screen. Beware the silence after the scream, for it is in that quiet void that the true terror resides. Our final story, a chilling tale of modern connection gone awry, comes from Maria. It recounts the unsettling events of a family Zoom call that quickly devolved into a waking nightmare, blurring the lines between the digital and the real. During what began as a typical virtual gathering, a way for the family to stay connected across distances, her cousin Leo, eager to share his new milestone, decided to give everyone a virtual tour of his recently acquired apartment, a symbol of his independence and new beginnings. As Leo proudly showcased his new space, Maria's attention was caught by something deeply unsettling, a shadow gliding, almost detached from reality. Across the wall behind Leo, a subtle but undeniably present anomaly. The movement of the shadow was unnaturally smooth, defying the expected flickers and jitters of natural light and form, completely featureless, lacking any discernible shape or texture that would explain its presence, and disturbingly deliberate, as if guided by an unseen intelligence. The unsettling sight didn't go unnoticed. Others on the call saw it too, their faces reflecting a growing unease. Leo, completely oblivious to the growing horror unfolding on the screens of his family members, remained alone in his apartment, blissfully unaware of the presence lurking just behind him. The shadow, as if caught in an endless loop, repeated its unnatural movement, growing bolder with each pass, each time accompanied by a chilling, guttural whisper that seemed to emanate from the very depths of the digital space. A sound so disturbing that it sent shivers down their spines. Yet, strangely, only the family members on the call could hear it, adding another layer of terrifying mystery. The entity, whatever it was, seemed to exist solely within the confines of the video call, a digital phantom haunting their connection until the last horrifying loop, when the barrier between the digital and real began to shatter, when the whisper, no longer muffled by the digital divide, grew chillingly clear, piercing the veil of the screen. "He's not alone," it rasped, a declaration that sent a wave of dread through everyone present. The chilling words finally reached Leo, breaking through his oblivious facade, and for the first time, he heard it too. A wave of pure, unadulterated panic overtook him, his eyes widening in terror as the reality of his situation crashed down upon him. Driven by primal fear, he scrambled to end the call, his fingers fumbling with the mouse as he desperately sought to sever the connection. After finally disconnecting from the horrifying virtual gathering, hoping to find solace in the silence, Leo, his voice trembling with fear, immediately called Maria, seeking reassurance and desperately hoping that what he had just experienced was merely a figment of his imagination. He whispered into the phone, his voice barely audible, confessing that he could still hear the disembodied voice echoing within the confines of his apartment, a constant reminder that he was no longer alone. The whispering, once a faint and distant murmur, grew louder, more insistent, as if the entity was drawing closer, and then the chilling sound of footsteps echoed through the hallway, each step heavy and deliberate, followed by a series of unsettling taps that began, growing louder with each repetition, on his bedroom door, a clear indication that whatever was lurking in his apartment was now just inches away. The last message Maria received from Leo, sent moments before all contact was lost, simply read, "It's saying my name," a chilling testament to the entity's growing power and malevolent intent. Then, silence descended, a deafening void that spoke volumes of the horror that had just unfolded. When the police arrived, they found Leo's apartment empty, devoid of any signs of struggle or forced entry, all doors and windows securely locked from the inside, his phone and laptop inexplicably left behind, as if he had simply vanished into thin air. The building's security footage, which should have provided some answers, was inexplicably glitched, looping the same few seconds over and over again, offering no insight into Leo's disappearance, a chilling echo of the looping shadow that had appeared on the video call, as if the entity had somehow infected the very fabric of reality. Leo was gone, leaving behind only unanswered questions and a lingering sense of dread. He had vanished without a trace, leaving behind no clues as to his whereabouts or the nature of the entity that had seemingly claimed him. The family, understandably traumatized by the events, never held another group call, forever haunted by the memory of what they had witnessed. The digital hearth that once brought comfort and connection, a symbol of their modern family bond, became a source of profound trauma, a constant reminder of the unseen horrors that could lurk just beyond the screen. They had unwittingly witnessed something cross over from the other side, a breach in the digital veil, a looping shadow that defied explanation, a glitch not just in the technology, but in the very fabric of reality itself. Technology, in its relentless pursuit of connection, can undoubtedly bring us closer, but it can also inadvertently let things in, opening doors to realms we were never meant to see. The shadow repeated its haunting performance again and again, a digital specter trapped in an endless cycle until it found a way through the screen, crossing the digital barrier and stepping into the real world. Sometimes, the digital world, with all its allure and convenience, mirrors the darkness that lurks within us, waiting patiently on the other side, ready to exploit our vulnerabilities and fears. The next time you see an unexpected flicker, a strange anomaly, or a fleeting shadow dancing on your screen, remember Leo, and the chilling consequences of a seemingly harmless connection. Not every glitch is harmless. Some are more than just technical malfunctions. Some are invitations, beckoning us to explore the unknown, often with dire consequences. Some are warnings, subtle signs that something is amiss, urging us to proceed with caution. And some, the most terrifying of all, are the last thing you'll ever see, a glimpse into the abyss before it consumes you whole. The looping shadow, a digital phantom forever trapped between worlds, is still out there, patiently waiting for another call, another opportunity to cross over. So be careful what you invite into your home, whether intentionally or unintentionally, digitally through your devices or physically through your open doors. The void, that vast and unknowable expanse that surrounds us, is patient, ever watchful. It repeats its patterns, waits for the opportune moment, and watches with an unblinking gaze, always seeking a way in. And sometimes, when we least expect it, it steps through the cracks in our reality, bringing with it the chilling unknown. The family lost more than just a cousin that fateful night. They lost something far more precious, a loss that would forever haunt their digital connections and darken their family gatherings. They lost their sense of safety, the comforting illusion that the digital world was a separate and harmless realm. The chilling truth is that the digital world is not as separate from our physical reality as we often like to think, and the shadows that lurk within it can sometimes reach out and touch us in ways we never imagined. Technology connects us, but it also opens doors we can't always close. The stories tonight remind us the digital world is not as safe as it seems. Every call is a window. Be careful who or what you let in. If you've had a similar experience, share your story below. Until next time, lock your doors, update your passwords, and think twice before joining that next late night call. You never know what's waiting in the digital void. Stay safe and try to get some sleep.